Hi, everyone, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I am a bereavement support specialist. And it's great to see you, Susan. It's been a while.
Hi, Lisa. Great to see you too. Welcome, everybody. I know you were away for a couple weeks, so it's so nice to be
You
back
too.
again on schedule.
You too.
So today, Lisa and I want to talk about something that we all experience, but very few of us are prepared for. And it's that moment in life when mortality suddenly becomes real. What am I talking about? So it might happen when you get that unexpected call about a friend's passing, or when you realize that you're suddenly attending more funerals or life celebrations than weddings, right? So this is when a shift happens, and it's a wake-up call. And when death stops being this abstract concept that we've all known about during our lives, and it starts feeling more personal, and it hits home, right? So both Lisa and I have been experiencing this lately and over the years, but we've been watching people that we care about face their final chapters in life. And it's made us take a long, hard look at our own lives. These aren't comfortable questions, but they're transformative ones. Am I spending my limited time here on earth on what truly matters to me? Would I be satisfied if my story ended tomorrow? That's a big one. So today, Lisa and I will just do this brief video. Hopefully, it'll touch some hearts, but we want to talk honestly about what happens when mortality taps us on the shoulder, right? And how we can use that awareness, that aha moment, not to live in fear, but to live with greater purpose and authenticity. So it's a tough subject, but it can be a positive one at the same time. So Lisa, I know we talked about this earlier, and you have a very relevant recent story that you'd like to share with
I
our
do.
listeners today.
I do. And let me just say that I have known death, and I've said this many times, but for those of you who are new, I've known death since I was two, since my mother died and she was 26, and my father died when he was 57 and I was 30, and my new mom died when I was 46. So I absolutely knew death. And lived differently than most of my friends. They always thought that I was being too serious, and thought too much about life and purpose and all that stuff. But the wake up call has happened again. Many of my friends. So my cousin just died after a long illness, and this is my cousin's daughter, and she was only 53. And they just didn't expect her to die yet. She's been sick, but didn't expect her to die yet. My other cousin committed suicide, and she was in her 60s. And that's pretty recent as well. And then several of my friends have lost their spouses, including a cousin from another side. So all these are wake-up calls, and all these people now are saying to themselves, oh, life is pretty limited, short, it can happen any day, any minute. Some were sudden, some were illnesses, but now what? And so they've all joined sort of my band, which says, so what are you doing with your life? And what do you still want to do? And how are you going to plan your life? And some are frozen. They're just absolutely frozen in time.
I
You know,
know you've seen that. Yeah.
I can't live without this person, and I say to them, and it's logical, and I'm sure they aren't, but I say to them, and what would your loved one want you to do? And we all know our loved ones would want us to live, but the logic is not the personal. And the personal is, how do I live now? How do I go on with my life now without that person, without, you know? And
Lisa,
yeah,
the reality is life is short,
yeah, that's right.
right? We've
That's
seen
right.
this, we know this. We're in our second chapters now.
We are.
And it's and when you don't face a lot of death, the concept of death is so far
Right.
away.
Right.
You think, oh yeah, well, I'll die one day.
Right.
And we don't really give it a lot of extra thought until we start seeing it more and more. But I think by thinking about this topic like we're doing today, I think it can be transformative for a person. Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree. And it may change the trajectory of what some people decide to do. They put off things and, like retirement. So many people put off retirement and they say, well, when I'm retired, I'm going to do this. And then they get sick or they see other people who had waited and then they die and they didn't have that retirement time. There's so many things to really reassess, and people need to be doing that the whole
Right.
time, not just waiting for this to happen. This is the wake up call, as we call it. But unfortunately, it needs to happen at different times in our lives.
I'm sure everyone also has heard in some kind of story from somewhere or somebody, what did they regret most at the end of their
Right.
life? And what do we hear a lot about? We hear a lot of, I regret not having retired. I
That's right.
regret not working as long. I regret not having as much fun or waiting for that rainy day.
Yes.
That
Yes.
seems to be
Do
the
you,
biggest,
do you remember Irma Bombeck's thing?
of
She
course.
wrote that article and we all just went, ah, after she had had all those wonderful moments of suggestions about living and all, and she
We need to
regret.
find that and talk about that in a video.
Yeah, we do. She regretted the fact that she had spent so much time cleaning her house. She
Yeah,
said it took away the time with her children, with her husband, with other things she could have been doing. And I thought, wow, that is such an aha moment, you know?
let's find that article because so
Yes.
many younger people today don't even know who she is.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and travel, by the way. People say, oh, I want to travel. Somebody just came back from Greece, a friend, and said, if I didn't do this now, there's no way I could do this in a couple of years. There was a lot of climbing and hiking and all, and my body wouldn't be able to do it. And I
Right.
thought about that. If we keep putting off the travel, we're not going to be able to do it physically anymore.
That's right. That's right. And we think we can.
That's
So
right.
the whole concept of death and dying, right? We maybe can understand it intellectually, but we're really not grasping the concept of uh, understanding it emotionally.
That's right.
And that's really, really important to figure out what these triggers are and help us to think about it, to think about it, and to be more appreciative and think of the things we can implement now to help that process.
Right. And even the relationships. There are relationships that are not great.
That's
And
right.
maybe, if you reassess them, maybe you do want these people in your life. Maybe. I mean, maybe it's fine that they're not anymore, but reassess and figure it out at this point because you realize you don't have forever anymore.
Right. And understanding that relationships and friendships and happen for a season.
That's right. That's
Okay. And because they're not here anymore, we don't need to dwell on that, right? That happened for a reason. Life is too short to stay in it. It's time to now bring in a new set of friends or to do different things in your life to
that's
bring
right.
in the most happiness that you can. But to also think about any relationships that you may be neglecting at
Yeah,
this point in your life that need some care, or dreams like you just said that you're postponing until that rainy day when you won't be able to do it at some
that's
point,
that's
right? And living authentically, your authentic self, not to have to please other people
yes,
all the time. And most moms do that. They please their husbands, they please their children, they please everybody else, and they don't do what makes them happy. Same thing with dads. I'm talking about men too, right? Who are hard workers and out there every day, and that's their main objective in life. But there are some more important things too that we need to think about.
and we have talked about caregivers and how important it is that caregivers take care of themselves as well. And once that caregiving role is gone, they're wondering, who am I now? What am I? I
Oh,
was this
sure,
role for years, and now what? And that's a
sure.
reassessment now, too, because you see now that you're given a new life. And it's interesting because I've seen some people really change and say, wow, I put off doing this and I wasn't able to do this, and now I am. And
Right.
others just stop. Others just can't figure it out and figure out the new life that they can lead now.
It may sound silly, but I think it's really important to think about that question that I think I said the question earlier. Um, but think about what would you regret
That's
if
right.
if your time ended unexpectedly,
Yeah,
as it did with our own spouses, right?
that's right. That's right.
What would you regret about your own life right now? I mean, and it's not something you could just come off a whim, right? Really sit down with maybe a journal or a notebook and think about some regrets that you may have and do these things,
Yeah.
work on these dreams, work on fixing some things that need to be mended, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And some can't, and we get that. We
we
understand
get
that.
that.
Okay.
It's really a change in your perspective.
That's right.
It's a change in your perspective. And I know for many, many years of my life, I never had death. I never had loss. And I thought about it as one day I'd grow old like my grandmother and be 99 and die in my own house with my husband, with my grandchildren that come every Sunday to dinner. Life doesn't
Go that
always
way.
happen. It doesn't always happen the way we imagine it or
Yeah.
think that it should happen. So it's really in your perspective and your mindset,
Yeah.
to come to an understanding that life is precious, right? And we
Yes.
need to do the things now, not wait till tomorrow. And
Yes.
we talk about that all the time.
We do. We do. But I do think that the reality now is so much. Listen, my friends are all in the 70s. And 70 many years ago was really old. When you looked at your grandparents and they were in their 70s, they were old. They look frail and all. We don't. We look pretty good. It's different, technology and medical care and all. But now people have this wake up call and they say, wow, I can't believe I'm this number. That's what they're saying to me. I can't believe I'm this number. And
Right.
and now what do I want? What do I want to do with my life now? And yes, many of my friends are retired. Many do travel, which is great. But they also have to think in terms of what else they want and what else they've been dreaming of and, the
I'm
relationship.
getting distracted, Lisa, because I'm still back on the sentence from a couple minutes ago. I say it almost every day. I can't believe I'm this number.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a big thing
Yes. It is a
with
big thing.
me
Yes. Okay.
because I still feel 35.
Yes.
I
And
kept 35 on my cake for a long, long time.
uh-huh. But it is just a number until we start seeing some patterns. And we
Yeah.
start seeing, as I said, that so many of these spouses now just died in the past couple months and
Yeah.
they were all in their 70s. Okay. So, and I just gave you the example, of course, of the 50s, and right across the street from me, before any of us knew anything like this could happen outside of my own situation, this neighbor was playing tennis, very healthy man, 42 years old, insurance agent, playing tennis with his son, and dropped dead on the tennis court. And I remember
Yeah.
all the neighborhood, like it was so,
I've known people like that as well, very healthy, vibrant, athletic people who didn't have an illness
that's
or
right. That's
anything and
right.
unexpectedly died of a heart attack. You know that I believe in we all have a journey.
Yeah.
We all have a journey. My day might be up tomorrow. And if
No,
it is, please don't cry and be upset,
I
Lisa.
know.
Keep doing the video
I
and
know.
smile and laugh because that was my journey. And I really completely believe in it. This was my story.
Yes.
And I believe God knew it. I knew it when I came here. And that's the way it is. That's just my own personal thoughts. But changing your perspective, being
Yes.
more mindful, beyond material possessions, think of some things that you want to leave behind. How do you want to leave your thumbprint in the world? And
Yeah.
that involves some of the legacy work that I do with people.
Sure.
And once they do it, Lisa, I can't even tell you. Some people don't want to do it. Maybe it was a
Yes.
gift to them from a family member, and the family member wants some of their history more and the stories and the wisdom. But once they do it, they don't want to stop. Well, can we meet again next week? They love, there's some kind of closure in seeing that at this point, we have all lived full lives, right? We all have stories.
Yes,
We
we
have
do.
stories, and your little grandchildren need to know about these things, or
Yes.
they'll never really know you. Like I don't know my grandparents that
That's
well.
why I've really enjoyed doing this with my granddaughter. Being able
Yes.
to write this book and her writing it with me and discussing it with me. We're
Yeah.
almost at the end, and she said to me, I want pictures of your house. I want pictures of your parents. I want a picture of my mom. I want, so that we can add it into the book that we have,
Right. So, and it excites the younger people
yes,
too.
it
I
does.
told you I had finished one of my coffee table books, and the lady had passed away about a year after we finished our project, and the family called, and I went to the funeral. I didn't know anybody. I sat in the back corner, and a little boy gets up on a pedestal. He was probably about 7 years old, real little, and the mother, I guess, handed him the book and he held it up high over his head. Now, there were hundreds of people in that room. And he said, I just want to thank Susan. I don't know if she's here, but I want to thank her because if she never did this book with my great grandma,
Wow.
I would have never really known her.
Wow.
And that made me cry.
Oh,
Few things
yes.
make me cry,
Oh,
Lisa.
yes. Oh, yes.
That brought tears to
Wow.
my eyes because it was so touching. And that nobody told that 7-year old to say that like that. You know,
Wow.
that came from his heart. So
Wow.
these things are really important. So many of my friends are becoming grandparents now and spending
Yes,
time with their grandchildren. But some of these kids are, like you said, they're in their mid 70s. Some of my friends and their grandchildren are 2 and 4 and 5 and 6. And come on, people. They, yes, they know you, but guess what? In 5 years, are they going to remember you?
sure.
No, they're not. Their minds grow so much in the next few years. They'll
It's,
remember, oh, one day when you took them to get ice cream, but they're not really going to know you.
yes,
And this is important to keep that family connection.
yes.
Everybody listening today is the ancestor
That's
today.
right. That's right. The stories.
So
It's all about
I
the
do legacy
stories.
work. That's why I'm passionate about it. But there's
Yeah,
so many other things involved with this topic, Lisa. What about thinking about your own health,
absolutely.
right? Balancing some of the things we're doing. And I got to tell you, I'm the worst culprit. Every single day I get up and say, I'm going to get back to walking today. I'm starting today. No, I can't. I'm busy. I'll start Monday. I promise I'm starting Monday.
Mhm.
And I don't. And I
Mhm.
haven't started walking again this summer yet. And that makes me mad that I'm not following my own advice,
Yeah,
but it's important
it
to
is.
to make these better health decisions instead of being frightened
Yes,
when our friends and our loved ones are passing,
that's right.
right?
That's right. And, and we also have to watch about being obsessive also about the health,
Yes.
because then that takes up everything, and your
Oh yeah.
whole life is full of doctor visits and worry, and that takes away from any enjoyment. And that's the other extreme.
Now, Lisa, relationships with our body.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Mhm.
don't know about yours, but mine's been pretty tough over the years. I've been very, very tough on myself. If I could tell you the three things that are bothering me now,
Uh-huh.
I think about them every single day, right? If I had millions of dollars, I would probably go get all kinds of
Yes.
done. But
Uh-huh.
it's not happening that way for me,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
So I think at this point in my life, I have to stop the madness.
That's
I
right.
have to, I have to begin to be more compassionate about the way I look, about my different
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
parts, right?
Yeah.
We
And it's
have to
okay.
be
It's really
compassionate
okay. So
and loving and
yeah,
kind.
I'm going to give you an example of
Yes.
craziness. Here we have our pool party coming up, and I've got friends who say to me, I'm not going in the pool. And we have so much fun in the pool. We have our volleyball, pool volleyball. We have our squirting thing going on, and we have so much fun. We're like kids again, and we have fun. And you know why they're not going in the pool? And I quote, I don't look good in a bathing suit. And I say to them, this is not a beauty pageant. Nobody cares what you look like in your bathing suit. Nobody. But guess what? That fun in the pool is something that you may not have any other time at any other place.
right.
because you don't have that opportunity. And you're going to miss it because you're worried about how you look in a bathing suit. I'm
It's
not
all
kidding
in
you.
our minds. It's
Oh my
all in our
gosh.
minds,
Wow.
right? And we miss so many opportunities because of that. So we won't
Yes.
get too much into body work, but what about
Yes.
spirituality? And I consider myself a very spiritual person, and I think that it's so important because it really helps you find yourself a little bit more and find the meaning and find the purpose of your own story and what's to come and what's happened in your past, and to come to some resolutions or reconciliations about things that have happened in your past. They happened to you for a reason, yes. Okay, now get over it. You've experienced it, you've learned it, you've lived it. Now love it and say, that's a part of who I am. Okay, put your big girl panties on and wake up tomorrow and start another
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we all have these bad, sad days. I know it firsthand, but I also keep in the back of my mind that I know I'll feel better tomorrow. I know I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll feel much better. And I usually do.
So it's interesting because on Facebook, I love posting and I post a lot of inspirational things and I share them with groups because there's certain groups that I know are going to identify with them. And I get comments. Right on, amen, great. And I'm glad to see that. And now I think, okay, now what happens to them? Do we do them? Do we act on them? Do we really feel them? Are they part of us? Great to see them. Every day's a gift. That's why we call it a present. Da, 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 you know, but okay, what happens to those things? They are the truth, and they are how I would love people to be living because that's my life. That's what I believe in. But I don't know that other people take it in.
Not everybody does.
I know
Not
that. I
everybody
know
does.
that. I know that.
Lisa, you know how much I read. I couldn't believe Audible when I looked at how many books I read last year. I couldn't believe that was me. Listening to all that. I love to listen to my books now. But there are so many different perspectives out there, when it comes to spirituality. And you might agree with some, be open-minded and listen to other people's perspectives. You can always learn about something that you don't know about.
Yes.
But it's important because there are many books out there about the meaning of life or what happens after. What happens after we die? Is there a heaven? Or, I can give you a list of 200 different topics or more. So find something that resonates with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't like to sit there and read a book, listen to it while you're driving in your car.
Sure.
But you may find something really inspirational for you to help you shift your perspective a little
Yes.
bit and
Yes.
not live in the dark places, and to live in a little bit more light,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And positivity.
I personally do feel sorry for people who are unable to move in any direction forward. I
Yeah.
feel badly because I feel like they're going to get to a point where they say, well, now that's it. You know, I had
Oh,
a
no.
chance
Yeah.
and that's it. I'm done. You know,
And you know something, Lisa, that again, we feel bad, but that will become your story.
that's
That
right.
will become their story.
Yes, I
So
will.
we all have a choice.
Yep.
And we can choose to live this life a little more happy and joyful while we're here, or we can choose not to.
That's right.
So,
Right.
for the people that can't get off that couch for the next 30 years of their life, they're choosing that.
That's right.
They're
That's right.
choosing that, whether it's a mental imbalance, whether there are holistic things that you could do, whether there are support systems you can
Mhm.
find.
Mhm.
There's always that little bit of a choice that you can make yourself
That's right.
to take one baby step moving forward, right?
That's right. That's right. And there are many videos that we have about
Yeah.
moving forward and about small steps that you can take. So what I need people to understand is that there's many things that we have absolutely no choice about. Okay. They happen to us, they happen around us, we see them. But the choice of what we do with our own lives, our attitude, and how we choose to live it, that is all up to us. And people don't think they have any control. They're really wrong. They are. because you can. So many things you can turn around in your life, and be grateful that you still have so much still life left to live.
That's right. And if you think like this, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. But if you don't,
Mm.
please let this title of this video take heed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's a wake-up call.
That's right.
It really should be a wake-up call when you start seeing people pass all around you, whether
Yes.
it's for a sickness, whether it's a tragedy, whether it's a long battle with cancer.
Yeah.
We die in so many different ways for so many different reasons. And who knows why, we'll know once we get to the other side that that was the journey we chose to come here to Earth and learn about. And we did it along the way. And if you only knew that, if you knew it as deeply as my convictions are, that that's the truth, you might live life in a little bit more positive light, knowing that we are here on purpose. It's hard for me sometimes when I do talk to people that don't believe that and think that there is no purpose. We just die and we're a piece of dirt and we didn't come from somewhere, we're not going anywhere, and what's the point? you know so bringing some spirituality into my life many years ago has helped me tremendously over the years. Find a little peace for yourself.
Well, let me speak of those who may not be spiritual, but do feel that life is so precious and so important, and that each of us are unique individuals, and we are here to be an incredible gift, all of us, an incredible gift. And we each have our own sense of what that is. So let me not speak about whatever the future holds, because some of us don't have that. But the life that we have here is the present, and it is that gift that we have. And find that meaning for yourself and what that means for your own life and those around you who you surround yourself with, whether they're family, friends, people who you work with, whatever that is. And find that. And if you're not in the right place, find another place. I read
Yeah,
a lot about people who are so unhappy with their jobs. And to
yeah,
spend that kind of time being so unhappy and with crazy bosses or crazy coworkers, find something else. It's hard. Change is hard, but find the meaning that you need and your right place, because maybe
yeah,
that's really the wrong place for you to be at. So,
right.
yeah,
And nobody can make those changes for you.
that's right. That's
Only
right.
you can. Nobody can.
That's right.
Watch my own children and some of the things that they're doing, and I can't make these choices for them.
Yep. Yep.
They have to find their own pathways
That's
along the
right.
way.
That's
We
right.
can only do it for ourselves, no matter how much we love somebody.
Correct.
So
Correct.
maintain perspective, be mindful and present with all of this life stuff that's happening around you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And just remember, the topic is not a morbid one.
No,
We're
not at all. It's a
we're all
celebration.
dying.
It is a
We're
celebration of life.
right.
That's really what it is.
We're
It's the,
all here for a limited amount of
that's
time,
right. That's right.
and it's all in your perspective, and you have the ability to shift that.
That's right. That's right. And
Okay?
that's power, by the way. That's
So
power. You
powerful.
bring that back to yourself. Wow.
So powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
On that
Yeah.
note, Lisa,
Yep. Good. I'm good.
great video,
Yep.
and we'll see you again next week. Let's
Yep.
look for the Irma Bombeck, and
Yes. The
we'll
article.
di maybe we'll dissect her
Yeah.
poem because I remember how good it was, and I probably had to read it 40 years ago.
Yeah. That's about when she did it.
Okay?
Yeah. We'll have to find out how long ago it really was.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all
Okay.
for joining us
Thank
today, and
you.
we'll see you next week.
We will. Okay. Bye. Okay.